guys, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and I am here to talk about your horoscope and your daily energy reading for May 25th. That is Monday. And so let's get started, because it's definitely going to be a week that we're going to remember for a very long time. I think May in general has just been a really weird month for us. It's been a month of growth through remembering our past, through going through past issues, through going through past karma. And this week is going to be yet another week of just knowing how to cope and develop new coping methods and not relying on our previous coping methods through opposition. Now, in our past, we may have had self-destructive habits that helped us temporarily cope with pain, temporarily soothe what we were going through. Gemini energy, as you well know by now, we have our Sun in Gemini, we have the Mars is in Gemini, and we have we have Mercury in Gemini. That is a lot of personal planets that we have sitting in Gemini energy. So Gemini energy wants to feel good. It wants to feel good right now. It wants to move. It's expressive. It wants to just run around. It wants to do things, and it really likes instant gratification. Although Gemini energy is highly intellectual energy, it is of the lower mind's intellectual energy, which means that a lot of times, think of it like you were when you were a little kid. When you were a little kid, you had to learn a lot, but you learned it on a superficial value. You learned a little about a lot of things. That's the way Gemini energy is. It's tremendous amounts of energy and enthusiasm and activity in a lot of different directions. And it makes them versatile, it makes them mutable, it makes them entertaining. So understand that when you have all of this energy as human beings on this planet, when we're being influenced by all of this Gemini energy, we're approaching life with that same type of enthusiasm, with that same type of learning style. So you are at a lower level of learning. However, now here's the most interesting part, and I felt it last week, and I had like a little epiphany last week. Gemini energy is being opposed by Saturn. Saturn is sitting in Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is elevated thinking. It's higher learning. It's through observation of cultures, of different types of environments, of putting yourself in different situations, of long distance travel and traveling in areas that you normally don't, so that you can expand your consciousness, that you can expand your mind. Okay, that's in direct opposition, right, with your lower mind, with your wanting to feel good right now, because higher mind thinking is so broad-minded. It's just on this vast scale of futuristic. It's hopes, dreams, wishes. It's so big. But in order for us to do that, we have to expand our consciousness. So we can't rely on shallow thinking. We have to think on such an elevated level. And I really want you to wrap your head around that, because if you can, it's really substantial what I'm trying to tell you, that the universe is trying to influence you to be like. It's saying you don't get to just think of yourself and what feels good for you and what feels good for right now. It's all about what is good for all and what is good for the big picture. And if you were to look at everybody as a whole, if you were to look at everybody and value them the same as you value yourself, then where does that put your thinking? That is where we're at. The depth is so incredible. And the depth of that energy is influencing the shallowness, I want to say, of a Gemini. I'm not saying that all Geminis are shallow, but let's get real here. Gemini energy makes you want to feel good right now. It makes you feel good. It makes you want to just go out there and have this tremendously good time without the contemplation of thinking about, okay, what is the serious ramification of that action if I do it? That's why they're not known for a Gemini energy. Geminis are not known for staying in relationships very long. They flitter about. If something isn't making them feel good right now, they just go find the next thing that makes them feel good. Because you know what? That's what they do. So you have these two oppositions. And so Saturn is in this, though. You have to understand it's not just Sagittarius energy and it's Gemini. It's Sagittarius energy. Saturn energy. And they're making you karmically responsible for what you've done in your past. It makes you accountable for all of the things that you've done at a superficial level. And look at them on a broad scale, on such a tremendously accountable scale to others. And so you may be getting karmic lessons right now, karmic lessons about your past. People may be coming back from your past. There may be situations that you are going through that it's just like, why am I even going through these issues? I dealt with them in my past already. My past is my past. Like, why are they coming back up? You want to know why? Because you're not done learning your lesson, or you're not done dealing with the karma, or you're not done paying back the karmic debt. So, your sun in Gemini is going to be squaring Neptune in Pisces. This will leave you highly confused. Now, you have Pisces as a dual energy, right? This is an energy that sees two sides to everything. And then you've got Gemini energy, which is a dual energy, which sees two sides to everything. So this is a highly confusing time. So even if you have these, Saturn epiphany moments where you know that there's something more to be seen, it's not quite that simple, because you have like a confusion about what direction you're going. What are you supposed to be learning from this? It doesn't make sense what you may be going through. And so I want to say to you that if you're feeling this, then there's a reason for it, and understand that the universe is working in your life to make you have security and a long range goal in your future that will provide you a actual purpose in your life. But you have to experience ego breakdown to have this happen. Now, the moon is going to be in Virgo. Here it gets so interesting. Here's yet another dual energy, right? Virgo is a dual energy. But Virgo is I really like, when I think about this stuff, it so like blows my mind that it's all going on at the same time. I kind of almost don't know how to describe it to you. When you have the moon in Virgo, the moon is in Virgo, so your emotions, your well-being, your emotional well-being is in Virgo, in an energy that is very detail-oriented. It's disconnected. It's very logical. It's adaptable to what's going on. So even though the moon in Virgo is going to be squaring the sun in Gemini, what I think is happening through this type of opposition is your sun, your ego, yourself, in this fun, playful, like Gemini energy that just wants to go and has instant gratification and just go out there and just, spread its little limelight everywhere and, communicate shallowly, is going to be squared with the moon, your emotional well-being, and it's going to say, no, God, we got to get back to the details here. Like, there's something we're learning here. Saturn has us in the classroom for a reason. Can we get back to it? Because I really want to learn what I need to learn. And so there's going to be an emotional tug of war between let's be playful, let's be fun, let's be energetic, and then no, we can't. Saturn's got us in this classroom, and it's really, really strict about it. So I really want you to understand that that's what you're going through. You're going through tremendous amounts of dual energy. And guess what? Sagittarius is another mutable energy. It's a dual energy. We have so much energy in wanting us to adapt to a new way of thinking, and wanting us to adapt new concepts, and wanting us to adapt to a new methodology in our lives. And this is very, very important because as we adapt, as we can see then a new process, we can see a bigger picture, and through that unveiling or awakening, you might want to call it. You might want to call it just a flat out like awakening. It's through that you can learn a lot about what you used to be and how you used to interact with people. And it can make your mind think of whole new processes, thank goodness, with all this Virgo energy. Venus is going to be opposing the Sun in Gemini. Now, remember, I always say that an opposition is energies that are sitting there like this, right? They're at oppositions. They really want to meet in the middle, right? But they're here. They're flat opposing each other. And so when this happens to me, it signifies to me that there is a balancing act that needs to happen. There's a meeting of the minds. There's a meeting in the middle. And for this type of energy, the moon in Virgo, the logical mind, the detail-oriented mind, your emotions wants to get detailed. It wants to get down to the nitty-gritty, is going to be opposing Pluto and Capricorn, which Pluto and Capricorn means personal power. It means a death. It means a rebirth. It means regeneration. It means a whole lot of things, but it's in Capricorn. And Capricorn is all about social status. It's all about climbing the ladder. It's all about taking steady steps. It's an earth-based energy. This is all about the steady climb. It's not about Gemini, let's rush, let's go for it, let's just put all this energy into it, and let's just, have this really great time. It's not that. It's, okay, Saturn, what do you want me to learn? Let's work out the details. I really want to know, I really want to be in your classroom right now. It's like that kind of energy. Here's the neat thing about today, and this is what I want to leave you with on today, because I know I've given you a lot of information. This is about your ego versus your emotional well-being. Okay? Do you do things that you know is destructive to yourself, to your inevitable well-being? Do you like temporary, immediate gratification? The Gemini energy in all of this is going to make you want to do that, but the emotional well-being is going to say, okay, I bet you I can come up with a really, and these are mutable energies, so they all want to work together. I mean, they don't like being in opposition. All mutable energies hate opposition and fear it and don't want to deal with it. So here's what I'm saying to you. I would really dive into the fact that there's going to be so much going on that is going to be asking you to go into your mind, you have to go into your higher mind. You have to go into your becoming detail-oriented in your life. You have to get to the nitty-gritty about what's going on. Absolutely. And, this isn't a lovey day. And it could even be an absolute explosive day in love. Or there could be a money situation that comes up that actually blows your ego completely out of the water. Today is just a very highly volatile day when it comes to love and money. And I want to just put that out there because Uranus is in a bad moon and it's squaring off with Venus in Cancer, which means it could be a home and family matter. It could be something to do with money or security or things that you've been trying to put into place that just all of a sudden gets blown out of the water. Or it could be just a substantial opportunity, but maybe something that you just didn't want. You're just indecisive about it because it's not a direction you thought you wanted to go. So why is everything pushing you in that direction? It's going to be very confusing. And Uranus in Aries is going to be ego-based. So whatever comes up, it's going to be something that is going to make you, it's going to strike home. It's going to be in your ego. It's going to be in your core. So, if something happens, be careful, choose your words wisely. If something comes up and there's some sort of opposition where, you know, your core, your sun, your identity is all like being questioned, I would not tackle this subject right now. I would wait for the energies to be much more supportive, and believe me, they're not supportive at all. Another little tidbit is Mercury in Gemini is going, or Mercury in Gemini, Mars in Gemini, and the Sun in Gemini are all working really close together. They have a small orb between the two of them. So all of these energies, whatever happens in your emotional well-being in Virgo, is going to be squaring all of these energies at the same time. So if something happens in a conversation, it's going to set off Mars in Gemini, which is going to make it aggressive in words, and it's going to be an ego-based reaction, and it's going to be a self-preservation action. So be careful. If something sets you off emotionally, don't act. And I know that Mars in Gemini is going to want to make you act, even if it's in a passive-aggressive fashion. But I would be very mindful that whenever something affects you emotionally, it's going to activate Mercury, it's going to activate Mars, and it's going to activate the Sun all at the same time. So mind yourself. You have control over energy. Don't let energy control you. You are in an age of transformation. You're still that pretty little butterfly in the cocoon, and you're working, and you're almost there. You're almost at the point where you're regenerated into this butterfly, but you're not there. There's still some vulnerability there. So you don't want to pop out of your cocoon too fast, right? Because you're all full of yourself and ego-based in this energy. Don't do it. Let the full process. Be patient. Understand there's a lesson in today, and just go with it, because here's the beauty. The North Node in Libra is going to be trining the Sun in Gemini, Mars in Gemini, and Mercury in Gemini, which means no matter what happens today, it's a day of ascension. It's a day of finding balance in what was revealed. It's a day of knowing that opposition happens, and there's a balance in opposition. There's something beautiful about when opposition happens. You know, opposition happens to us so that we can grow. And if you have any kind of Libra energy in you, you can logically look at this and say, okay, I know this happened to me. This was unpleasant today, but guess what? It's all for the best. Have a fabulous day, and I look forward to talking to you about tomorrow's energy. And thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner.